Hello, it's been a while. I got a little lost. I took some time to rest and gain clarity, and I think I'm slowly finding my way back on path. Last year, I finally did what I was afraid to do for years. Quit my job, moved away from home, opened an online shop, and proceeded to light my butt on fire by embracing my path as a full-time artist. It led to another opportunity to showcase my art in a cat cafe, and I thought, this is it, it's only up from here. But things didn't turn out as I expected. I understood that the creative path would have phases of downtime in between periods of busy projects and business endeavors, but I truly didn't expect how long they would be. Months would pass, and it felt like I had nothing to show for it. While I had some small progress with sales, I noticed that I didn't make as much as I had hoped. And I was also struggling with creative burnout, so I barely made any art or content. The gaps of stagnancy made me really antsy, and it was very difficult to find a good balance of work and rest. I am hesitant to admit that when it comes time to work for myself, it's still very difficult for me. I continuously went from one goalpost to another in hopes of affirming my worth as an artist, and found myself wondering why nothing feels satisfying or fulfilling. Prior to starting my art journey, I wrestled with negative connotations of art as a career. This was definitely conditioned by the way I grew up in an Asian American household. I wanted to prove myself to the world so desperately that I can succeed in a career that can be viewed to others as unstable, invaluable, or even irresponsible. But now, in hindsight, I was crushed under the weight of my own pressure. I didn't know how to handle these internal struggles, so it eventually bubbled to the surface. Every obstacle, interruption, or distraction felt unreasonably aggravating. Resting made me feel like I wasn't doing enough, and I ended up spending my free time learning everything I can from art fundamentals, social media, art business, and filmmaking. While I did enjoy doing these things, it came to a point where I wasn't having any fun anymore. I constantly felt guilty for not making as much money or creating as much output of my work or online content as other artists. I became anxious and afraid to start anything because I couldn't fathom the idea of failing at something miserably or feeling like I've wasted my time. Since I am in such a privileged position, I wanted to make good use of it. It became harder to remember why I was pursuing art in the first place, and I ended up isolating myself, even when most of those judgments sprouted from my own mind. I debated countless times whether I should quit art or not, but a creative life has been so intertwined in who I am as a person and how I live my life and see the world, I couldn't bring myself to give it up. It didn't matter which decision I made, but I knew that I didn't want to forfeit creativity from my life. While I am introverted and feel shy to meet new people, I've come to terms with the fact that I do want to be part of a creative community and that I have to make more effort to do so. Lately, I've been feeling like the universe has been giving me signs to slow down. Looking back, whenever I pushed myself too hard, I would encounter a lot of obstacles, and much to my annoyance, be given more opportunities to experience life, whether that's a family visit, a surprise trip, or spontaneous plans with friends. And don't get me wrong, it is such a blessing to have these moments, and the times when I would struggle to enjoy these precious moments with my loved ones is when I really need it the most. However, it made me feel like I was losing control and led me to set unrealistic goals for myself. I was constantly tinkering and refining my workflow at any given moment to the point where even the slightest distraction would have me restart from ground zero. Weeks and months would pass without a finished project, and it was like running on a treadmill, trying to constantly run and catch up while also not going anywhere. After encountering it so many times, I decided to surrender, slow down, get off the treadmill, and enjoy being still. During this break, I realized that this downtime, this impasse, is necessary to grow as an artist. Resting and doing nothing are crucial aspects of the creative process to let inspiration flow and determine the next direction I needed to go. So I allowed myself to do just that, to stop creating for a moment, to replenish my cup and energy, so that I can come back for the joy of it. I still struggle with allowing myself to rest, but I do notice that when I do, it's given me more levity, flow, and a new sense of perspective in my approach to art. This break also made me realize that I am a multi-passionate artist. I like to think that most creatives are. I had a lot of identity crises where one week I would have an itch to sketch or paint, then suddenly feel passionate about journaling, and while I'm journaling, I will be inspired to film and edit cinematic videos of my life. I would go through all of that in a loop and end up abandoning all previous projects. And this really affected my workflow and worsened my relationship to creativity. It didn't help that I felt pressure to record and share it all, yet not know what I can share, if you know what I mean. My fiance reminded me that I'm still figuring out my own personal identity, so therefore I'm still struggling to figure out myself as an artist in the public space. Which is true. Since I am still a beginner, I was and am still learning new things, not only about my artistic skills, style, or my own creative workflow, but also about my values and who I am as a person. So I'm giving myself the grace and space to grow into the person and artist that I want to be. My best friend also encouraged me to make art for myself. So I wrote a poem. I wrote it as a way to express what and how I've been dealing with on my creative journey and to be able to sit with these feelings. I have been getting really into poetry within the latter half of 2023 and was particularly inspired by Mary Oliver and how she writes poetic prose. It has been a really therapeutic process for me, especially as someone who feels a lot of feelings and has trouble expressing their emotions, at least vocally, to other people. And I actually personally like it a lot better than regular schmegular writing, if that makes any sense. I'm so nervous. I have been trying to make my path in art mean something, to show its value, whether it's financial success or some other external merit, for someone out there to see and approve of, for everybody else, for anybody else besides me. I've been burnt out for a while, trudging through impasse when I should have been still, though now I think I can take steps toward another path, a new journey. I want to commit to art for, well, me, slowly, deliberately following my joy. For how long, I don't know, but at least while my skills catch up to my creative expression, while my soul snips its tethers and is free to explore, create, experiment, and fuck up without boundary, while I discover my own value and joy in my artistic process, this little creative life that I'm blessed to be in. It's a creative gamble I'm terrified to make, but I'm willing to take that chance to guide me to great places, new faces, while also leading me through loops and confusing mazes. But I guess it was never really about the destination in the very first place. I actually wrote this while I was trying to create art for myself, like my friend advised me to. After a lot of ugly, clumsy sketches, I finally came across one that I actually really like and am happy about. And I think I want my style to kind of resonate with this. Let's see if I can hold it up. Oh, so cute, right? I hope. It's not even a finished piece, nor is it even part of a project. It's just something that I sketched and I was just trying to get my groove back. And in fact, I actually slapped some watercolor on there and I absolutely hate it. But it is what it is. And I can't be too precious with it, especially since I can basically redraw it. I know that sounds really scary, especially traditionally, just because you don't know if you can recreate a sketch that you really, really like. But 9 times out of 10, I'm usually really happy with the redraws more than I do the first initial sketches. So I try to keep that in mind whenever I'm creating. I'm still experimenting with my art style too, so there needs to be a lot of patience and leeway for that as well. That's really all it is, actually. Just a seemingly insignificant moment in my process. A moment in momentum, if you will. We'll see how this all goes. Right now, I'm celebrating the fact that I'm letting my creativity breathe and show up for it without pressuring it to be seen or become anything. I'm trusting that what I'm doing is the right thing. I want to cultivate my art routine and skills more organically. and I want to do it with more joy and fun without worrying that it's a waste of time. I'm also celebrating all the small steps I made toward the life I want to live. Instead of belittling or hyper-focusing on results not meeting a specific timeline, I want to celebrate the fact that I'm still going after my dreams. I want to celebrate the way I am tackling my anxiety to meet new people and artists, exploring new places, and taking care of my body through exercise and nourishing foods. In the beginning of the year, I could barely step outside the apartment or feel worthy enough to follow my dreams. But now I feel a little stronger, even if it doesn't seem like it on the outside. I don't have any fancy awards, merit, or status, and some days are not perfect, but I'm learning to better adapt and just keep flowing. A few years ago, I would have given anything to have what I have now, to live with my fiance after years of long distance, and to try art. And that's exactly what I need to do. Just try and enjoy this experience. I'm here right now. I'm already living the creative life. I've already made it. Thank you so much for listening. I wanted to give a more honest reflection of my creative journey, so I really hope you enjoyed it. For more love notes and diary entries like these, please feel free to check out or sign up to my newsletter website. It'll be in the description below and the comment section. Please feel free to stick around or subscribe to be a part of my creative art journey and for more future art videos. After this impasse, I want to have a more sustainable approach to YouTube and art by showing up for myself without the pressure of being perfect. So the focus for future videos will be to just show up for myself, have fun learning, and be more playful with experimenting and to just enjoy creating again. An example of that would probably be digital time lapses of my art while also sharing art tips if anyone's interested, as well as little life updates or diary entries. In my previous videos, I used to put like a little box with my face in it during these time lapses, and I think I'm gonna bring that back again. Now that I'm getting into digital art, it'll be helpful, especially for days when I don't feel like filming. I also want to sprinkle in some traditional paint with me, sketch with me, warm-up sketch sessions, and maybe even trying new mediums. I bought an acrylic paint set for a paint night that I went to, and I kind of want to experiment it with a little more, branch out, if you will. The point is, I want to have a more casual approach to recording my videos and hopefully make a cozy little space for those of you who also want to show up for your creativity. If you've been feeling lost or confused or isolated or stuck, you are definitely not alone. I feel like it's really normal for a lot of artists and creatives to feel. While it inevitably comes, it will also pass and things will work out in the end. My old therapist used to tell me that impasses are important too, and that there's no such thing as a wrong decision. I hope that I can remind you of that as well. And with that, I hope you're having a lovely day. Take really good care of yourself. And until the next one, happy creating. Bye.